Hey, what is up guys? It's Chris. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you some blood test results that I had done at my recent physical about 2 months ago. I think it was the first blood test that I've ever done in my entire life. And I've been eating a vegan diet now for 4 years, living a vegan lifestyle in general. And I thought I'd go public with these results just to kind of show a picture of how my health is at this point in time. A lot of people are unsure of whether or not you can be healthy, as a vegan, eating a vegan diet. Some people just outright think it's not possible. So I'm just kind of hopping on here, gonna show you my results, and we're gonna get to the bottom of this. We're gonna see if I'm healthy, am I dying, am I malnourished, am I protein deficient? We're gonna figure it all out. We're gonna look at the results and also look at a letter that my doctor wrote about my results. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So with this blood test, my doctor looked at 5 different things. First one was a comprehensive metabolic panel. Second thing was my cholesterol levels. Third thing was thyroid function. Fourth thing was testosterone. Fifth thing was B-type natriuretic peptide test. And then the last one was just a blood cell test. So the first part of the blood test was a comprehensive metabolic panel. To explain what this is, I'll be citing Medline Plus. They wrote a nice article about what this test is. It basically measures 14 different substances in the blood to provide important information about your body's chemical balance and metabolism. And it shows what the test looks at. And at the bottom here, it says abnormal levels of any of these substances or a combination of them can be a sign of a serious health problem. So it's basically used for checking body functions and processes, including liver and kidney health, blood sugar levels, blood protein levels, acid and base balance, fluid and electrolyte balance, and metabolism. So with all that out of the way, let's get into my actual results. Starting off here at the top, looking at sodium levels, millimoles per liter. It's at 139, which is right there in the normal range. Potassium as well at 4.3, chloride at 103, CO2 at 30, anion gap at 6, fasting glucose at 88, blood urea nitrogen at 16, creatinine at 1.06, albumin at 4.4, total protein at 6.6, and bilirubin was actually mildly high, but I'll go into the letter later. My doctor said this was really of no concern. Then we have alkaline phosphatase at 84, aspartate aminotransferase, that's a mouthful, at 19, alanine aminotransferase at 21, and calcium at 9.2. So that's the results from the comprehensive metabolic panel. Next, we're gonna look at my cholesterol. So starting off here at the top, got total cholesterol of 104, which is excellent. It's way, within the standard range there, as you can see. Triglycerides were at 53, HDL cholesterol, which is also known as a good cholesterol. Evidence indicates that it's protective against heart disease. That was at 46, which is also in a good range. LDL cholesterol was at 45, which is really good, like well within the standard range there, very low. LDL is the bad cholesterol, raises your risk of heart disease if it's high, so I'm very happy with that number. Then non-HDL cholesterol was at 58. Again, just showing that it's exactly where it should be. So all in all, those results show that I'm at very low risk of heart disease. I don't have any issues with too much fat in the blood. All the numbers look pretty good there. And I have just low risk of cardiovascular and heart disease in general. So the next test looked at thyroid function, specifically measuring the level of thyroid stimulating hormone in my blood. So what this hormone is it's produced by the pituitary gland. And what it does is it signals the thyroid gland to produce T3 and T4, which are 2 hormones that have, massive effect on regulating metabolism throughout the body. So my result for this was 0.838, and it looks low on that normal range there, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Citing this part of the Wikipedia article about this hormone, it says that the concentration of thyroid hormones in the blood regulates the pituitary release of TSH. So when T3 and T4 concentrations are low, the production of TSH is increased. And then when T3 and T4 concentrations are high, TSH production is decreased, which is an example of a simple negative feedback loop, the way the body regulates the levels of things in our body. So just because my TSH was low, it's not necessarily indicative of anything bad. Again, we're going to look at the letter that my doctor wrote about my results at the end of this video. So the next test, we're going to be looking at my testosterone level. Now, this is something that I was very keen on finding out when I got this blood test done. And I think a lot of, young men like myself are curious to see what their testosterone level is. It's just kind of like an innate thing. You want to know like where that's at. It's a very important hormone for like so many things. So my result for this was 397.2 nanograms per deciliter. It's within the normal range. Admittedly, I think it is toward like the lower end of the range. I personally would like that to be higher, but it is what it is. Hopefully I can, get that up over the years through just maintaining, a healthy lifestyle. I'm pretty sure this is not correlated to my diet. The research that I've looked at seems to indicate that there's no correlation between a vegan diet and low testosterone levels. I'll put some of that research on the screen right now, as well as cite it in the description. There's a lot of factors that play into that, sleep, genetics. There's many things that, can affect testosterone level, but a vegan diet seems to not necessarily be something that will cause it directly to be lower. Now, again, I'll make emphasis, this is not like clinically low testosterone. It's still within the normal range. I'm just kind of commenting on why, some people watching this might be like, oh, that's like really, lower. Maybe it's because he's vegan. The research I've looked at seems to indicate that to not be the case. So the next test looked at B-type natriuretic peptide, which is essentially a molecule that you kind of measure the level of that to determine your risk of like heart failure. It's kind of like an obscure test that is never really an issue for, young people like myself, but my result was good. It was at 21, and you could see the standard range is below 100 picograms. I'm assuming that's picograms per milliliter. So the last test here was the blood cell test. Starting off at the top, we've got white blood cells at 4.35 in the normal range, red blood cells at 5.07 in the normal range, hemoglobin at 16.2, hematocrit at 46%, mean corpuscular volume, I don't know if I pronounced that right, was at 92, mean corpuscular hemoglobin was at 32, mean corpuscular, keep saying corpuscular every few moments, it's kind of hard. Mean corpuscular hemoglobin concentration was at 35, at the high end of that range there. Red cell distribution width was at 12.2, a little bit out of the normal range there, but my doctor had no comment on this in the letter, so I think I'm good. Platelet count was at 210, mean platelet volume was at 8.8, neutrophils absolute was at 2.7, lymphocytes was at 1.10, monocytes at 0.4, eosinophils at 0.2, and basophils was at 0. I guess they couldn't detect that one at all. So yeah, those are all the hard numbers from my test done. Now we're just going to briefly look at the letter that my doctor wrote about my results. He said that my complete blood count was normal with no evidence of anemia or infection. The results of my complete metabolic panel were normal. Blood sugar, calcium, albumin, protein, liver function, electrolytes, and kidney function were all normal. And coming back to that bilirubin level that was high, he did note that it was high, but he said it's typically isolated in those who are fasting for benign reasons. So this by itself is not really of concern. And then he said that the results of my lipid panel were normal, which is basically, the cholesterol test that we looked at second. Goes on to say that my thyroid hormone was normal, my testosterone level was within a normal range, cardiac BNP level shows no signs of heart failure. Then later on, he goes on to say that I appear in good health and to just come back, do another physical in 12 months. So that wraps up the results from my blood test. As you can see, your boy is healthy, doing good. I'm not sickly or malnourished or like protein deficient like a lot of people think you will be on a vegan diet. And overall, these results don't surprise me. I lead a healthy lifestyle in general. I sleep 7.5, 8 hours a night. I do resistance training 6 days a week, mostly like calisthenics, body weight training. I eat a good diet, low in processed junk food, high in like whole unprocessed plant foods. So things like whole grains, rice, beans, potatoes, nuts, seeds, soy, a little bit of the vegan meat alternatives here and there, but it's not the bulk of my diet. Just kind of stick to eating really clean and whole food based most of the time. And these are the results of my lifestyle. So it makes me proud to know that what I'm doing and what I'm putting in my body is allowing me to thrive and be in good health. And I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. So yeah, guys, that's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching to the end. I hope this was of value to you in some way. If you have any questions or concerns or comments, leave them down below and I'll get to you. And hope you have a good one. It's Chris signing out. Peace.